So now Spider, on these Zoom streams that he does with us, he's in his women's spa. So all of the infield that everybody ever wanted to see, you hear all the dialogue with girlfriends, with new girls, with customers, old and young, different colors, families, all kinds of stuff. Tattoos, and you hear all the reality that he brings to it, like, what if werewolves were real? That's a tongue twister. Try to say that 3 times fast. What if werewolves were real? What if werewolves were real? Wow. It's tough, right? That's a good one. What if werewolves were real? What if vampires were real? So, we were talking about hypnosis today briefly. I just kind of went over it in the Zoom today. And it's amazing. If you can imagine, this is not a hypnotic pattern, but if you can imagine that you could see something, somebody could hypnotize you into seeing something. You could imagine that somebody could, if you were really like listening and susceptible, tired or something, they could make you see a fucking yellow dragon or something flying around. Yep. And if you could conceive of all the hours and the time in school and watching TV and commercials and textbooks and religion over and over, years and years and years, yep. The hypnotic effect of not seeing certain phenomena because we're programmed not to. Right. Maybe, perhaps. But you see it demonstrated in his apex structure, how he talks to all the customers, all the women around him. He's sitting on a throne in a paradise of orderliness that he keeps injecting order into. It would fall apart if not for him. The order is held together by something, and that's what we get to have contact with on these Zoom streams. Nowhere on earth, nowhere, no YouTube channel, no video, nowhere could you go and see the finessing, the game, the structure that Spider is just demonstrating like you would eat nachos. It's just like how he's living. And we get access to that. And so that's what I was going to talk about on the stream today. As there's a lot of new guys on TikTok and all the social medias everywhere, it's flourishing. So we're here on Zoom, we're here on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. We got Master Myself, we got behind the camera, behind the scenes, IMC Simba. We got some alumni on the Zoom, and we'll open it up for dialogue. Anybody that has anything to say, just raise your hand so we keep it orderly. Otherwise, I'll pass the mic.
Yes, sir.
Master Myself. What's going on, man? What's top of mind with what I'm saying?
It says it's an echo from IMC TV.
There's an echo. That means the YouTube is also going to have an echo. Is it because it's microphone or something?
Because it's on mute.
Dang.
No, you don't care?
Well, hopefully you got the message of it. And is it better now? Yeah. Cool. Okay. Yeah. What's top of mind about that?
Yeah, man. Man, like we were talking about today in class, it's an entire ecosystem that has been built, and to see the structure, that's been built over time is it's incredible, really. It's a testament to the process, a testament to the evolution of all of our character, and in particular, following Spider-Man at the level that, he's moving. It's incredible to see him pick up so much steam so quickly. He's light years ahead of,
Yeah, it's not even steam. Pick up so much speed.
Right.
Like, because the steam, how fast is the steam engine going to go? He picked up some kind of new technology and it's being revealed in his beast process. Mm-hmm. His beast process training is a template for it, bro. You should ask me questions about it. Yeah. For sure, that'd be righteous. It's a new training he's come out with because it's a new discovery, as anybody could imagine. Let's say Jean, tech genius, creates an app and sells it. A year later, he comes back and say, I made a new and improved app. And they're like, well, you said the last one was the best ever. And it's like, yeah, but guess what? A year of talking to 1,000 businesses and working on it 3 hours every day, it emerged a whole new thing. It's not just an innovation on the last thing. This is a new app 2.0, and this is a new innovation. On top, you would understand if you've done high-level trainings with Spider before, the innovation of it. But it's broken through to a new level of understanding, similar to the Messenger's tech, where it gave a template of how you were naturally being, but he hybridized that, or somehow they came together, his understanding of that whole template, where he has a whole template for understanding your innate capacities, your innate abilities that come naturally to you, that are revealed through the occurrences of your life that maybe you're not paying attention to because you've been hypnotized not to. And so he went deeper. He had a whole beast process that's amazing. There's so much we could say about it: alchemy and discipline and character development and all kinds of stuff. The most attractive man in any room. And blending that with your unique beast signal It's unique. It's not what it may be what you think it is, but from my limited experience with it and through what he said, it's actually probably not the beast you think it is, the animal and the symbol that you think it is. It's something else. Close. Maybe not close. Mine was like if you look in the sky and there's that star that's pretty, or a planet, you don't know. It's kind of bright, but you don't always see it. And you don't really know what it is. Mine was one of those beasts versus I know where the North Star is. I know the Big Dipper is. I know the moon. I know these main ones. That's the tiger. That's the whatever, the mantis. That's the main characters that I've worked with. This one was like always there, but like I wasn't paying attention to it. And it's a very cool map of how I already am, and parts of me that I've suppressed, parts of me that are not in my character, that, I'm whatever, this and that. He gave 2, and then he's developing that. It's pretty amazing.
I got a lot of questions on that. In contrast to the process that we've known before, when I say we, I mean, the process that he shared back in 2020.
Yeah, I don't know if these guys can hear you too, so you have to shout.
Right on. Yeah, so what's the difference, that you can see from now? I know you're talking about the map, but, can you give insight as to how you see, life, at this point? Yeah.
It's very similar to that word insight and map, an inner map. Through insight, when you look in, it's a map of behavior and patterns and responses. It's very compressed. What he gives you is shorter than anything you've seen before from him, and if he ever gave you something personal. But it's also the most collaborative as far as feedback and where it's being calibrated and addressed to. So the language of what he gives you as this package of like, not really a leap. It's like it's not even a story. It's just like words that spell out. It's almost like a character description, but very customized based on certain feedback and how he decodes the symbols of your mind based on your feedback. That's why half of the evolution of finding your, what's up? KP's on. Half of, I think that's KP. I might have the name wrong. It is not. It's someone else. JP, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Similar name. Half of your evolution with Spider, and Spider is teaching each man his unique signal of the beast, ultimately is where it's at now. Your unique natural signal that doesn't betray, it's aligned, and it's... So, remind me the question.
Yeah, what do you see differently? Like, how do you interact with the world differently? Like, what's your experience from the inside, if you can share?
Learning character development from Spider is finding your unique signal and developing from that. And until you find and locate inside, which comes from certainty and inner awareness. If you asked let's start at 20, because if you ask a 10-year-old, he'd probably give you a better answer than a 20-year-old. If you ask a 20-year-old, tell me about your philosophy of life. Be kind of retarded answer, most likely. It might even glitch out and not even know how to answer you. If you ask a 28-year-old, he might have more of an answer, given all things being equal, whatever. If you ask an old man, he might have some things, but it's probably going to be depressing to hear. And, so when you find your unique signal, it's like starting over at 0. Your game starts over. You don't know what to do, but that's fine. But that's the humility to learn from someone like Spider, because he doesn't have any tolerance for inauthenticity. So building a castle on sand just won't work in the end. He's done it. He's done it before, maybe for himself, but he's done it with students. I've been around long enough to see the students from before my time, and other students that were around that were closer to him when I was still roaming the world teaching yoga. And that's the mistakes made that he discovered and learned, and utilized what was there along the way. Obviously, evolve with me. Like, he has massive celebrity connections going on right now in you're a celebrity to whoever knows you. If they don't know you, you're not a celebrity to them. But to the world, his world, and the world that matters, because his world matters in the game. His world is designed and developed for what matters in the game. And that he's kingpin of the game. So in his world, he's got some really nice selection of celebrities that appreciate him for his character in his game, not for anything else, not for fame, not for even his girlfriends, although that's obviously gets leaked and seen, and that gives a lot of context to the character. But the way he does it is not front-loaded like that, like wearing it on his sleeve, as they say, like I got all these girlfriends or whatever. It's very, it's finessed, it's calibrated, it reveals the character. So that is a developed character that's been on top of an authentic self-awareness. And it's one thing to find your own self-awareness, but to develop a system to transfer to somebody else for them to become aware of themselves is like a different level of coding. Like, it's one thing for Jean to make a program. It's another thing to, over a Zoom call, teach someone else how to code their own app and make it successful. And like, that's a different level of mastery. And now we're talking about the game of all games, not the coding game. The game of all games that every coder and athlete and politician and every man is going for. Mm-hmm. So it's very important code, far-reaching code that, you know, Spider has, it's emerged through his technology and how he works with the students and everybody, an ability to decode. And so what's different about my system and, you know, my game and interactions is it's kind of like if you had certainty on your movement and the certainty of presence. You don't have the internal agitation that distorts the present time, that makes one feel uncomfortable where they are at the time they are. And it's a really viable, you could call it a technique, I guess. It's a framework of perception that you must work it and make it integrated with your system so that you become the beast like that. So the presence is just different. Comfort in pressure is different. And so it's a new level of pressure tolerance, because the nervous system is very, like, you know, working with this thing, the language, the neurolinguistics, the imagination and how it reacts to that, the journey and the effect of good storytelling and a plot and a story that sinks into the system and continues to flower into new meaning as it sits with you and as you live with it and integrate it. It's very potent, powerful, unique, individualized, and it is a mental tech, so it's kind of like ethereal, like that. You know, it's character development. Oh, dude, somebody's calling me. He's got to call back later. He should see that I'm live when he calls me like that, because he called me on Instagram. So that's kind of long-winded. Appreciate everybody being on. Theta, Thanos, Marlon, John, Tony, and then we got the live audience here. So that's the highest level training with Spider. It's not for sale outside of the OGs. So it's not even for sale inside the OGs. The OGs can step up and do it or not. And what is for sale is the university, which right now is an OG podcast where we talk the theory and structure of the game that Spider taught us. And then Spider jumps in from his women's fitness spa or whatever spa, his women's spa, his business. And it's a trip. Brothers for $97 a month have access 20 times a month to Apex structure of game. Straight up infield. Daily.
Man, and the value of that is immense. You know, anytime I get a chance to go back, you know, we upload the recordings, you know, inside the members area as well. So, you know, when I go back through those, man, I see and I can clearly tell, like, the value is in what's being said. You know, it's not just what's being said, but you get perspective, you get insight into, you know, Spider's inner structure, you know, and how he's interacting with people, and that's major.
Yeah, you don't see light until it bounces off of something.
Right.
And so the character is revealed in the responses. Mm-hmm. And there's so many responses, such a high density of traffic of responses from his women's spa with girlfriends and customers, and just the real time of it. Each one interaction is profound. When you see all of them, it starts to triangulate something. You start to get a shape and a feel of where he's coming from. And it's it's revealed in a deeper layer and is initiated. That's the inner work. That's the structures he's working with, the stories, the patterns that he's decoding in his own mind, and you see deeper layers of yourself. For sure. And that gift of awareness, I mean, without Spider, what would you do? I have the blessing and privilege and the curse of seeing all the guys that come and go and what happens to all of them. It's just like, what the hell? Like, and then on top of that, the guys that never join and what happens to them? What the hell? So it's not like Spider's fucking them up. Spider's giving them some deep dope tech that when they go off, the world is such a trap and you're born into such a weird prison that the ego is just going to boomerang on itself and bite itself in the foot and sting itself in the ass and just eat its own vomit. Like it's going to, the person that learned the goodness that Spider gave them and doesn't continue to honor that, it's going to bite them in the ass, because I haven't met one yet that didn't leave on bad terms, bitter terms. They were bitter about something. It wasn't a clean cut where they outgrew it in some legit reason that could just be said. There's always somebody bitter and butthurt about something that couldn't voice it. Yeah. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong, but they're definitely incapable of voicing their feelings, which is where they're at in the game. And if that's how they couldn't interact with Spider with their grievance without blowing up. And they can't do that with Spider, too strong, so they just exit. But that's what they do in their relationship with a woman, except they'll blow up at the woman and bully her. And then you can't make a woman love you, so she may stick around, she may not, it'll deteriorate, because injecting that bullying just corrodes the relationship from the inside. So you got to really clean out your system and be able to confront situations, and it's a very tough journey, but I don't see anybody else anywhere in any field evolving in this way. And so that's a trip. What else are you guys living for? Kind of thing. Like, you're either settling or you're going for it, in my view. But there are also the new guys that like just get access to it. So It's like, what is this? Yeah. Guys, on social media, we got 7 over there, 3 over there, and like 4 on Zoom, and I'm sure you got some over there. This is an account built on the clips from this guy Spider, formerly AZD. I'm Yogi Chris. I've been working with him a long time. I found him like 11, 12 years ago on YouTube. Changed my life, changed the whole trajectory. I didn't communicate like this. I didn't know about this stuff. And I've developed along the way in ways that is superhuman to you guys, but still just infinite to what Spider's at. And I know, I go in field, I interact with the same people, I see, I understand to some degree, to a larger degree. And I've been around a while and I've seen a lot of guys come and go, and some guys stick around and make it their life choice to go for this. Because anything else you go to is just a little bit more black and white. Just a little bit more shades of gray. It's just not as luminous to just go for this. Like Ross, sticking that out, not going back to Canada. Big risk, but he'll work on it while he stays here, But that's not easy. There's levels to this thing. So you guys just got to be inspired by the truth, and we have to reveal the truth because they have to know it's true. Right. Like the dude really has these relationships that he plucked from Las Vegas and brought them from over across states, and leads them and continues to lead them in a stable ecosystem, a stable structure that he streams to from his office and talks to us from. Yeah. And so we see it and hear it. And when we go out with them, the effects are no less. Right. And you see the structure as it bleeds out from, or not bleeds, that's not the right word, but you know how it bleeds into, or whatever the wording is. As it leaves his temple over there and enters this new space that he's made a temple. It's like his visitor's temple. He has a timeshare in the clubs we go to. And when he goes there, he owns it because that's his timeshare. That's a pretty accurate analogy. Yeah. But it wasn't through investment like this. It was a little bit of goodness like that, relative. And it was a lot of social exchange. And so they give when you give, but what do you give? Is it just more talking? Like you guys want me to stop talking at some point. The value drops if I just keep talking, right? So it's not just a one-way flow. There's some value that's being given that puts a person into kind of a debt they want to give back as they align to it, because that's just laws of nature, laws of the universe. Yeah. It'll make us both grow when you put in also.
For sure. Yeah, it's so what I was getting at is, the context of, what we're seeing while we're in class or in the podcast, just having insight as to what's going on, in that space. And you hear, Spider's acknowledgments or his, communication back to the environment. It brings reality because, especially for the guys that have seen him in field, just as Yogi was just addressing, we see the structure. We don't always get to hear what's being said. And, the delivery, the back and forth interactions, even when you're there in your infield, you're not going to perceive all of what's going on because it's a stimulating environment. How often do you guys go to, strip clubs, or, how often are you exposed to this level of quality of women? And, that in itself is a whole world, the quality of women that stick around and that are plugging into, Spider's ecosystem. That's what's incredible.
What's so incredible is that it would be misleading if you thought it was just that the structure of how he lives his life, how he makes decisions and navigates communication and just lives his day-to-day, moment-to-moment is, the magic. It creates the magic because we see the unicorns and the Pegasuses and the elves and the princesses and the fairies and all the beings around him. Yeah. And what makes it is off camera, is not in the strip club. Right. It's how you go to sleep, how you wake up. It's what he teaches like that. And a contact with him in these Zoom streams and knowing that's where I was saying before, half of the evolution of finding your unique signal and developing it to your own apex level is your ability to receive what he's giving, and so your ability to receive all the variables that are in your control, your rest, your alertness in class, your distraction level, your intention, positive, negative, all kinds of variables pushing and pulling, and then how much time you've put in and at what level, because the structures are there to flower and grow. It's just putting that in. So I do have some online questions though, but I'll hand it back to you and then I'll get to this.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you about that because you have the most exposure, to the Spider, and in the sense of the most history and exposure, but then, still infield every time, so what is it that is missing in reality for a lot of guys,
guys in Vegas or guys online or new guys?
Every guy that you can see, like what's the missing formula? I know it's not reality to a lot of people.
A missing formula to what? Like success in the game, or seeing the truth of Spider?
Just how you see it. I mean, you're in a relationship and or handling multiple communication lines with women, right? So that being the step forward, for all of us that aren't there, what do you see is missing in that? It's because that seems like that's the next step, or is that the next step?
Well, it's a castle made on sand, So if your foundation is off in the house and you start repairing the roof, it's still going to crumble. So the roof is like what everybody sees in the outing. You start painting it, but the inside's corroding because of the termites or whatever. So a structure of living that makes you sovereign of your money and decisions and your time and who you associate with, how you dress, how you speak, how you tattoo yourself, how you stream. Like that level of sovereignty is going to be needed for the kind of sovereignty needed for multiple relationships. And then also, so how you make your money, basically that's the long answer for how you make your money, is important. $1 made that way is not the same thing energetically as this $1 made that way. $1. $1 made this way could be equivalent to $10 made that way in terms of how you carry your nervous system, the nervous system that earns that dollar. Invites you to co-host. No, sorry, bro. So how you make your money, and then what's the missing element for guys, given where I'm at, is proximity to Spider, honestly. Like, if they were going to try to do it without Spider, if the answer was Spider wasn't here and we were like, what are they missing to be able to do it? And I was going to answer from my limited level, I would say, which is a high level, don't get me started on that. So it is just a level of ownership of their life, their mind and their decisions. I think they lack reality on I just don't see any guys even close enough to give an answer to, honestly. Because to do what any of us aspire to do and what Spider does, clearly, you must be have massive attraction from women. Massive, and then know how to steer it. Yeah. So that's the game, philosophy, and understanding, whatever. and the sensitivity to redirect in a heartbeat on a dime. Any communication lines, nothing can throw you off. So it's a very sturdy yet like lightweight structure, like a spaceship that can just change direction on a dime at 900,000 million trillion miles an hour. Like, it's how to do that. The mind is capable of that, but to decondition the mind. So what's the missing step is, that whole journey is not just a step. We could label it a step. Step one, free your mind from conditioning. Yeah. Now, how do you do that? Well, you need some masters, you need some guidance, you're going to read some books, watch some YouTubes, and I did all that and found at the top of the pyramid that when a man wants to free his mind, and when he frees his mind, he's either going to go live in the fucking mountain cave and not do anybody any good, unless it helps through the space of life, I guess, or he's going to want beautiful women. And so on the journey of that polarity, I was either going to go that route, or then I saw this guy, and he seemed more accessible, and it seemed more fulfilling. I wanted to be a man of the world. I had a family. I didn't want to leave everybody behind. It wasn't like that. Might be different. I might do it differently if all my family were dead and I had nobody. But I do. So the light ego that he has, it's hard to see sometimes because he's aggressive and very firm in standards, and maybe there is some ego there, whatever, but it's not of the same quality. It would be like 99.999% gold versus like 30% gold that people have. Whatever. It's just not even the same purity. And it's not that it's 30% the value, because you got to put a lot of energy into that 30% gold to get it to 99% purity. The purity of the gold is not just in the weight, it's in the concentration of it. Imagine you drink water and it's 99.999% pure versus you drink mud that's 30% water. You don't get 30% of the value there. Saying you have to consume a lot of impurities there. So purity of character goes up tenfold for every percent of purity up. That's why getting 2 girlfriends it's like 10 times better game. Getting a 10 is like 10 times better than getting an 8 or a 9. It's not just a little bit better, it's like a whole different level. And so the missing step for guys, I think, is proximity to a reference, because they don't have a reference. So trying to figure out on your own is blazing a trail for yourself. There's a lot of steps in that step, and the only man I've ever known or met or heard of that did it had access to certain teachers and mentors and a whole upbringing that we're not going to replicate. Some of them aren't even here anymore. And it's later in the game, like, you just can't replicate it. So, and none of those masters and teachers he learned from did the same thing he's doing. They had elements of it. But he's doing something that is exactly what I want, minus, it would be my own flavor of it, but multiple relationships of a high level, given that that's just like a natural structure off of my living structure as a man. I have my own businesses as a man. I have my own relationships as a man. And I have my relationships with women. I'm fulfilled in that way. So I get so many reflections of my character. Yeah. That my self-awareness is through the roof. It's just, and the abilities and the experience of life that comes with that, the ability to do good for people. Self-awareness, it only is self-awareness if you can really relate to people. If you can't relate to people, then don't try to convince me you're so self-aware. You're self-deluded. Self-awareness should come with it the ability to relate to a large span of people to a deep magnitude level. And if not, then your self-awareness is just a self-created matrix of understanding that only you understand. It's like you journaled in your journal and you've invented your own language and you understand yourself a lot, but nobody else can understand you. That's like the monk in the mountain that did nobody any good. But even worse, because it's like that person at least has peace in some way. You're just whatever. Like, it's an analogy, but the missing step is they haven't sidestepped their own mind and habits. So they're in their mind and habits. And that's a sticky trap. As soon as you try to step out of it, it latches back onto you. Like, every step is an ego move. And so how to just kind of sidetrack that is like, it's not just in what Spider says, like his language, where he comes from. In his inner world, it comes from a place that his language is instant and spontaneous, and it transports you there if you can hear it and process it. If you understand it, it takes you to a different space. It shifts you just like 2 frequencies off. Right. And, from there, you can do something like what he does. Because in yourself, you're not gonna. There's too many, 99% of what you're doing is subconscious habits, and it's unattractive. and it's going to kill whatever structure you make in this other world. So you got to get access to this other world, feel it, get familiar with it, and then start feeding it energy from the other world. So you consume the other world, assimilate it into this new one, so you have authentic character. Versus most guys are game, they would go into this other world if they get any good, and they have a world that's fantastic and attractive to women, but the reality of their character is the other person. And so they have this split reality. So they crash or implode or explode with relationships. The science of integration, like I said, if anybody had it, if any psychotherapist or any change worker had it, they would have some hella dope women, hella dope relationships. Because you and I know that they would want that. So if they could manifest and think it into creation or whatever, and they were aligned, then they would have it. If they don't have it, don't even get me started on women teachers. But if it's a guy, if he doesn't have it, then stop listening to that guy. Or just take it for a grain of salt, like he's teaching you some technique about something that you want to know about, but he's not. You're actually going to learn bad habits from that guy if you're not careful. You're going to adopt a lot of bad mannerisms and qualities from all the things you watch and study and listen to, music and everything. So that's where I say the first step is take ownership. If you haven't taken ownership of every thought that you entertain and every input of sound, words, conversation, ownership in the way that you don't take it on, but ownership of like, what is it? Be clear. What's yours, what's not? And that level of alertness and awareness, most people fatigue very fast. That's where Spider is revving at warp speed in his processing time. He's really cleared out, and he's demonstrating that, and he's doing his best to help guys achieve that level. His beast process is that. All of it is that. Appreciate the dialogue questions. Online, we have one of the AZD University members said he'd watch it when it's off. When you finish and read this, my question is, as a man, do you go for all the girls you can get, no matter what? Obviously not. That's a retarded question. No matter what, obviously is a no. Or if you, let's say, by the way, Thanos, this guy's in Croatia. If you're close by there, there's an IMC guy there. Or if you, let's say, have multiple women, you allow others to have some, let that particular woman into someone else. I mean, these are people, bro. They're people. So like what you let happen, if it's yours, it's yours. If it's not, it's not. Take responsibility for it. If it is, that's where effortlessness in game, that's where the curse of learning technical game or anything to do, because if it works, you're trapped. If it doesn't work, then you curse the teacher. And it's just not anything that you'll build long-term on. You'll end up defaulting back to your strategy or whatever micro changes you make along the way. So yeah, you have to decondition all of that. And then, so what do you do in particular? Yeah, I go for whoever's signaling me, unless the guy has alignment with me or it threatens my survival in some way. Like if it's the mobster next to me and his wife or something, she's signaling me. I mean, I go, you know what I mean? Like, so it's just a survival decision. Women are icing on the cake, bro. They can't be the main objective. Connection is not singular. Not sure how he works, but I would say probably honors connections. Yeah, and I just explained a lot about how I think he works. Anybody else? We got a lot of comments. Simba, you want to read them out loud? Because we got to move on.
Yeah, on top chat here, Masculine Mindset, it was just saying, Damari, what's up?
There's also Zoom comments.
All right, this guy is, I don't know how to say his name, so O-A-B.
Thanos. It's Greek.
All right. He was saying, Spider changed my life, still has my respect with my family. Oh, actually, he was talking.
I have like right now, I have like 3 girlfriends right now, okay?
Yeah.
One is in France, one is in Austria, and one is down here.
Right on.
But I don't know, like the France is okay, she likes me, I know it's okay.
I hope so.
I don't want to go to France or something, so I'll probably keep my distance and see how it goes. The Austrian girlfriend, I think she's probably cheating on me, and she decided to cheat on me because we were like 50 days together, like 1.5 months. And the one here, she's giving me mixed signals, like...
So when you say girlfriend, in English, in American English, girlfriend, carries a certain weight to the word. Do you just mean girls that you're sleeping with? that you're actively sexual with? Is that what you mean by girlfriend? Or what do you mean by girlfriend? Like, have they cut out other friends that are guys? Do they interact with other guys? Have they committed to you? Like they tell people, I'm his girlfriend?
We have fun together and stuff, you know.
Okay, so it's loose. It's a loose relationship. I see.
But yes, but we still interact. We still interact, though.
Of course. Okay, so now we get that level. So yes, go ahead.
So I had like this Greek girlfriend. She's probably cheating on me.
Bitch.
And I call her today, and I'm telling her, you know, you were. Like,
hold on. I gotta ask you, how do they cheat? What is cheating? If it seems kind of like you just have fun together, have they committed their exclusivity to you? Have you said, hey, you're just with me, and they're like, yeah, daddy. Right, Simba?
The Greek one, yeah, I said, and the Austrian one. On the Austrian one, I said, I want my exclusivity with you. She denied it, but now she's sending me nudes and stuff and hearts, and she's like, okay, but...
It's a little hard to follow, brother. Brother, it's hard to follow. So, did the girl commit to you? The one that you said she may be cheating on you, the Greek one. Did she say, I'm only going to be with you? Yeah. And she told you, I'm only going to be with you?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
And then, but okay, go ahead then. I understand.
And like I get her a trip with the car, and I got her a present and stuff. I humped her a little bit, and she was okay with that. But she's like, I don't want sex and stuff. And today I called her, and I told her off, and she started texting me over and over, like for an hour.
Okay.
I don't know what to do. Probably I'm done with her, you know.
Yeah, I think it's just structure of how you regulate yourself and how you regulate your life. There's a lot of chaos in your attitude and emotions I've experienced from you over time, you know. So there's some chaos. I don't know why you suspect her. Why did you suspect her cheating on you?
Because she's off. Like yesterday she finished the job, and instead of sending me anything, she sent me today. While
I see.
She will probably not see me for long.
I don't know if that means she's cheating on you. Maybe she is, but I get it. She violated your structure of how you wanted her to be communicating with you, and she understood that's how to do it, right? And she broke that structure, and so you broke up with her. And so now she's texting you frantically, trying to repair it. Do you want her to be with you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Well, when you have certainty, that would be the place to operate from. So, you know, it's those moments of pressure. That's when you know when it matters. I was telling someone the other day, like when I was learning from Spider, formerly AZD, long ago, and I was living in Florida, but I was traveling in the U.S. teaching yoga. So I had a girlfriend that was with me for 3.5 years while I was traveling, and she knew I was with other women, and she knew all about it. But when I was in Florida, I would stay with her. Big mistake, but that's what I had to do financially. And so what? Man on the rise can make it work, but as soon as you start getting comfortable, it fucks up real bad. And you know, one of these times I'm going through just the most retarded, absurd hardship with her. I mean, it would be, man, you know, it would be the sort of thing that you're like fighting with the person, but you don't know what you're fighting about. But goddamn, it's evolved into you're disrespecting me and I'm disrespecting you, and now we're fighting about how we're disrespecting each other. And it was just tension that we both wanted to fix, but we couldn't. We just couldn't get out of our pattern of whatever it was. So I show up to Spider's AZD's at the time Love Spell program, and I remember like 5-10 minutes into it, it lifted. And I didn't know how to communicate, and I was still on the stream. I had headphones in. I think it was actually a No Fucks Given podcast. So I was actually co-hosting with him, and I would introduce questions and read the questions from the comments or whatever, and he'd answer. And I was going through it, but it was one of the first times I realized that when you're going through it, you get really real sometimes. Like, maybe sad, depressing, but it will be the time that you see someone that like they're kind of closed off, clammed up, and they have a girlfriend and whatever, but they never voice up. And then they go through a breakup. And all of a sudden, they unmute on one of AZD's classes, Spider's classes, and they got some shit to say. And they don't, it's like not even that good, but like, they are being real. Yeah. And it's like the vibe when a guy gets real. So when the breakup happens, a lot of times it shakes the guy into like being real. And it's like, well, what the fuck were you being up until then, motherfucker? That's why it broke. And you got tranced day after day, deeper and further off the pulse. And that's what happens to all of us. That's why we value access to Spider in the members area, Thanos. I'm telling you, bro, the value of it is unknown until you're going through hardship. And then I'm on no fucks given, and with a little bit of lifts, and I'm looking at my girl like I have been destroying this relationship through my inability to handle her chaos. What did she do wrong? What was she not able to do? If she was unrighteous and unethical, whatever, then you decide, is it worth it or not? How she's coming back towards you. If she's, man, it sounds like she's trying to fix it, but I don't know. There's 1,000 million details in it. That's why Spider can give perfect advice to wherever you're at. You're just going to need his advice the next message, and the next message, and the next message, and the next message. You're going to miss the pulse as soon as you stop getting his advice. That was Sultan's problem. And what you need ultimately is your unique signal. You need to be able to regulate yourself and stabilize, and then start learning. Start from zero. Start learning to communicate from your unique signal. And if you think you're on the path, then you still got a long ways to go. But I'll bet you've missed the signal. You're off. Because I know the work and effort it takes and the intelligence it takes. And maybe there's some prodigy out there that's genius and he's figured it out also. I think that might be Spider. And I don't see Spider as some, half-retarded prodigy genius like that. He is a man of intelligence that had access to the right information and put in the work and cut out all other options and went for it. And he's senior to all of us, and man, he made it work. And he's reporting it to us. And it's hard to imagine because we couldn't imagine what he's gone through. We can only go with what he offered us. The missing step for every student is dedicating yourself to the full library of what he's put out, including current trainings. And that level of dedication, is what it takes. Loans, cards, it's just what it is to do it. And get your life in order to be able to sustain that level of training. Because in the end, you're going to need to make 20 grand, 50 grand a month to be able to train with Spider at the level that what it is, and be able to run your life in a way that you can, reap the rewards of it. And of course, the trick is, most likely, if you can get it to 50K a month, you're going to be able to get it further than that. So you're going to really want the structure of relationships and social dynamics that he's got, a thumb on the pulse of that evolution. Or everything you build to get to that level is going to be a big liability. You'll see. Jean's lucky that he destroyed his structure early on. But he's going to find that he's been gradually trancing off the pulse, and he's trying to stay in touch with it, and I'm trying to keep him in touch with it because I see him as potential, but I only have so much time because I need to work with Americans and guys that want to be here for sure. So it's just what it was. The old generation of guys that were aware of Spider and AZD through whatever is YouTube's and everything, if they got access to it, that's great. Now the sole focus is on everybody in America that can hurry up and make a decision to get here. Because there's no other hope to get a reference for the signal. Yeah. And the technology, the more he knows you, the better his technology will work for you. So you're very lucky to have the chance to maybe get to know him. And whatever life you got going on back where you are is not that good. You know it. Whatever. But I understand everybody's new relatively. We had a guy that was new on the class, and he came to 2 classes, and he's like, I'm just feeling it out. And I'm like, I get it, man. It's hard to recognize what it is on the first class. But it's like, you got to make a decision because I'm moving on. You're gone, motherfucker. I'm on to the next guy who has the intent to join, the intent to upgrade, the intent to improve himself, because guys are ruining their lives left and right with women or stalling. And I got no apologies about this is the solution. So, man, I could talk forever, but obviously I do have to hand it over. That's what a second cup of coffee will do to a white boy over here. So, yeah.
It's incredible, man. Really, the parallel you just made, to being real to somebody is everything, I forget, that this is not reality for a lot of people, it's...
What's this?
This is this movement, but really what we're witnessing Spider create, here in Vegas, and his relationships with not just women, but like you were saying, in every single moment, his relationship with life. He's an actualized character. This man, I've seen him go from
powerful phrase
to AZD to now Spider, and the consistent evolution of that character that he presents the character that he is. You know, it was a presentation at some point, but it's a being, it's a lifestyle, and you know, to know that we can all carry, you know, that level of character, it's inspiring, man. It's inspiring on a level of, let me change my life, you know, even further. I'm in Vegas, you know, I've been living here for 2 years, but man, you know, how much more can I go? That's what I'm seeing, especially as I'm getting in communication with guys that have not been, you know, in touch with IMC. I'm like, man, I'm starting to see that they still have waking up to do, you know, like,
yeah, they do
a lot.
For
and
sure.
You know, I'm still, you know, figuring it out myself.
We'll make it happen, man.
You know, but yeah,
we're about to make it happen right off of this stream.
Yes,
so, but we do got to go. So, Marlon Maddox, AZ University, that's the next step.
Yes,
David Cabell, next step, AZ University. Thanos, AZ University is the next step. The answer to your woes with women is a month of AZ University, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Nice.
If it's not, then I'll give you a $200 or $300 product for free. Because I know it is, for sure. Jean, I guess we got to talk, and you also need to step up. But we'll talk about how you can help us step up, and I'll put you to work. But you're going to have to work. And Simba will tell you, I'm a fucking slave driver when it comes to work. So that's just what it is. I mean, it's up to you if you want to do it. So everybody else, salute. Thanks for joining. Os. Be the best. Fuck the rest.
So, yeah. IG said, do it again.
Did you finish that joint?
I did.
Okay.
Profile is no longer eligible to live. That's what it said.
Oh, because you're smoking?
No, it was before I even.
Your profile is no longer eligible for live. Only public profiles with 1,000 followers. There you go. So get it to 1,000.